Now, you don't always need to pay for fine dining to get a delicious meal. Sometimes the tastiest food can be found at a food festival or a street food stall, and that's where we're taking inspiration from in the kitchen this morning. Our firefighting chef, Paul Knapp, is here, and that is so true. Some of the most delicious things that I've got, I've paid next to nothing.
Absolutely,
and got from a little stall or out the back of a lorry.
Yep.
And it can be just gorgeous and packed full of flavour.
That's the thing, packed full of flavour, so it doesn't have to have some really expensive ingredients. Just put some spices in there, some veggies in there, stuff like that. And it's food that's kind of native to the area, so yeah, packed full of punch, and street food is definitely tasty.
So what are you making for us this morning?
So this morning, what we'll be making is it's kind of a chickpea. It's based kind of an Indian recipe, so it's a chickpea pancake. All right, and it's simple ingredients. It's gluten-free, very high in protein, and it's a good source of carbohydrate as well, which is really nice. And the best thing about these, I always say, if you're going to cook something, cook it kind of in bulk. Make a few extra pancakes. You can freeze them, and they're handy as well as a gluten alternative to say maybe kids' lunches. So you can use them as wraps and stuff like that as well. Take them out the freezer, then they become a convenience food. And I'm a huge fan of trying to break down taboos around words and stuff like that. And convenience food has a bad press, but we can use those and they can become convenient and stuff like that. So they're really
just
simple.
making more, and they freeze well.
They freeze well as well. And all we're going to do is we're going to fill them with different fillings. So we've got a couple of choices there. What we've got is we've got a spice or a smoked aubergine kind of a curry there, and what we've got is a sagaloo, which is traditionally kind of potato and spinach. So you can choose. Have a taste of that. You can choose which filling you particularly like in yours.
I already know. I'd say I'm going to go for this one, the aubergine.
We're cooked to order, you see. This is the street food stall, so we can do whatever you want. So what we do is we blacken this over a grill. You can do it over a barbecue. You can do it over a gas ring, and you leave that for about 10 minutes either side, so it looks like it's burnt, but the flesh becomes really soft.
So you don't cook it in the oven beforehand or anything?
You just literally burn it over a flame.
Just hold it with two forks or something?
No, just leave it on the flame.
Oh, leave it?
Leave it on the flame. Make sure you prick it first of all, because otherwise it'll explode, as I found out, much to my detriment, okay?
Very important.
All right, so again, and then there's a sagaloo, which is traditionally just some potato, some spinach, some garlic, some turmeric there, some fresh turmeric. A lot of the shops now are doing the fresh turmeric. So again...
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Have you not? No?
Nope.
Have a smell after that. That's really nice. If you put that, grate that down, put that in some milk as well, some black pepper, great from an anti-inflammatory point of view.
I saw in a shop yesterday turmeric lattes.
Yes, really nice. With fresh turmeric is really nice.
It is one of the spices of 2018, apparently. Now, I'm sure there's people thinking 2018, try about
problem with
500
it is you really will dye your hands, so maybe just be careful with stuff like that. It looks like you've been smoking loads of cigarettes because you're covered in yellow, but it's lovely.
Smells different.
It's really, it does. It smells different to the powder. So to make
lovely.
the pancakes...
Okay, to make the pancakes.
Recipes on TV3's website. Really straightforward. Chickpea flour, 200 grams, okay? What we're going to put into that is some spice and some herb. And what we're putting in, these are called carom seeds. And it's a kind of an ancestor, or it's a friend of thyme, they're cousins. So it smells very much like thyme. So if you can't get carom seeds in, say, like an Asian food store, then you can use fresh thyme or dried thyme. So they just pop into there. A pinch of salt and some turmeric goes into that. That's all that goes in there. And then about 200 to 250 millilitres of water goes into this.
So this is basically ground chickpeas?
Yeah, just roasted beans and then ground, and that's all it is, OK? And it just makes this lovely little batter. Look at the glamorous assistant there.
And you can buy this quite freely, can't you? I've seen this in the shops.
Most health food stores do it these days. Yeah. If it's not a health food store, then, say, most supermarkets are doing chickpea flour now as well. So that's basically, that is it. That's your batter made. It's literally seconds to make this, absolutely, OK?
So handy, because I try and stick to a pretty gluten-free diet. I meant to, anyhow.
Yep.
And you do miss things like pittas and pancakes.
Yep. And again, that's just, you can use this sweet without, if you didn't put the spices in, you can use it as a sweet mix, say, or you can use it as the savoury. But today we're going to be using this as a savoury. And that literally is that. That'll make about 8 pancakes, OK?
So just to be clear, it was basically thyme or carom seeds?
Carom seeds, yep.
Salt, turmeric.
And that was it. And then also what we're going to pop in there is some fresh chilli, some fresh ginger and some fresh garlic. And we'll literally just lob that in there like that. And that is then as easy as, and that's everything that we need for our pancake.
And it goes. Now, how many of those will you get? How many pancakes out of that mixture?
You get about 8 pancakes out of that. OK. Now, what these are going to be like kind of a crepe. You don't want them really thick. You want them nice and thin. So we just warm up the pan, and all we're going to do is we're just going to pop that in there.
How lovely. So do you know kids adore pancakes, but they love them very sweet?
Yes.
Is there anything you could do to sweeten that up?
Absolutely. What you can do is you can just omit the spices, as we say. You can just literally put the water and the chickpea flour. It'll have a slightly different taste because it's been roasted. But then you can just use it as that, as you would do a normal pancakes. You can put butter in there. You can put bananas in there. You can put like a chocolate spread in there. You can get ice cream in there. You can do absolutely anything. There will be a slice.
And no sugar?
No, you don't need to put sugar in there. No. So you get a lovely taste coming off of there as well.
Very good. And that's how you make them.
That's how you make them.
Sweet.
So, and they literally take. OK, thanks very much. They literally take a minute or so to cook. And what starts to happen, you start to see the bubbles coming through, okay? And then all we do is we don't need to flip these pancakes. So what we do is we just leave them as they are. They start, absolutely, yeah. So for people that aren't really into cooking, that delicate part.
Well, also then you try to flip them and you break them and...
Yep. So all we're going to do is we're just, as that starts to dry out, we're going to fill them with whatever the filling we choose, okay?
So you don't flip it. So how long generally would that take to cook?
As I say, you can see the bubbles coming through there now, okay? And that's nearly cooked. All I say with the pancake is leave it for a little bit. Okay, if you start prodding and poking it, what's going to happen is that it's going to start to kind of fall apart and break apart. These are a little bit more gentler because there's no gluten, there's no elasticity in there. Okay. All right, so they just need to leave them. But you can see now it's starting to dry out. It's perfect.
Oh, you can?
Absolutely.
This is really quick.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's really good. Yep, absolutely. So all we're going to do is we're just going to introduce into this now our mix. So we can just put this and then we roll them, okay? So all we do is we just pop that into here.
So let's just bring people through how we make this again. We know how to blacken the aubergine, leave it on your open gas or on your barbecue, and we're going to have barbecue weather this weekend.
Great for barbecues. Fantastic.
Great for barbecues. And once you open it and scoop it out,
Scoop it out with some tomato, with some garlic, with some ginger, with some turmeric, with some more spices. And what I was going to do is I like to give people kind of tools to put into their culinary toolbox. If we can master the pancake, then what we can do is we can move on to this. So what I'd like to do the next time is we'll come along and we'll show you how to make this burnt aubergine curry.
Okay.
And it's all about extra little tools that we can learn, master something, and then we can go on with that.
Okay, so we'll come back to that. But that's a rough idea. We have the... Oh, look at that.
So all we do is we just need to roll this, and what it goes almost papery. Okay, and you can see that you get that nice kind of almost a crispiness on the outside.
There is a crispiness to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on this one as well, we'll just fold this one.
Now, would you like the plates here?
Yeah, okay, we'll bring them over. So what we get is obviously there's a reasonable size one.
And I love this too, which is sagaloo.
Sagaloo, yeah, which is just
potatoes and spinach. And
so
it's the same
it's the
spices,
same,
isn't
absolutely. It's just potatoes, it's just spinach. Absolutely, yeah. So I'm just going to pop them over there. Now, the good thing about these is...
Which one?
Give you the bigger one. You try to do a nice job. No, cheers, Paul. Well,
the best thing about these...
Am I having the same thing as you?
Yes.
So this is...
This is the burnt aubergine and spinach curry. There's some cinnamon in there, there's some turmeric in there, there's some ginger in there. You get a lovely taste off of that.
What a lovely thing to send into your child's school in their lunchbox.
Absolutely. You get a real zing coming off of the ginger that's in there as well, off of the pancake. It is, yeah. Be careful, it is hot.
Ginger, garlic, so good for you.
It is actually, yeah. So everything in there is, you get a nice kick off of there. There's a lot of chilli in there as well, but you don't get that chilli punch in the back of the throat. It just gives you that nice kind of a chilli taste. And there's some really nice flavours going on there, and they all kind of complement each other.
Isn't that lovely?
It is. Actually, it's funny. The pancakes are different to the pancakes that we would have normally.
Yes, because you normally use a normal flour with egg and with milk and something like that. This is just chickpea flour with water, and then we just season it with the caramel seed, a little bit of salt and turmeric, and then...
For somebody who has a problem with I have a problem with pancakes. I know you have gluten as well, but I find pancakes really, really indigestible, and I would get terrible heartburn.
That's the gluten that you're going to get.
I love the taste of them, but I can't eat them.
Yes.
This is good.
This is completely different.
Absolutely,
I don't feel the same.
You won't. What you'll find is that you'll even eat that, and you know, like I'd say like Thai food is quite similar as well. You eat it, it's very light. You don't feel that heaviness in your stomach, and this is the same. You can eat this, feel full, but not feel bloated. You don't get that kind of bilious feeling in your stomach.
I'm assuming you could. Sorry, Ciara, I'm assuming you could do a kind of a sweet version of it.
Absolutely. As I said, if we just omitted the spices from that and just literally used the water and the flour, if you wanted to sweeten it a little bit, put a little bit of icing sugar into it. But if not, it's what you sweeten it up with. So with bananas, caramelised some bananas on there with a nice bit of ice cream. It's just a nice gluten-free alternative.
Lovely. Thank you, Paul. As always, it's delicious. Still to come in Ireland AM.